What are you going to do with your Christmas cards this year? Going straight into recycling, or how about making them into gift tags to use for next year? Now's the time to make them. I'm Julie from Julie Davis Flower Workshops and Flower Start, the online flower arranging classes. It's New Year's Day and I'm just making a slow start on packing away my Christmas decorations. I just find that if I leave it all to the 6th of January, 12th night, it just becomes too much of a thing. So I like to set myself little tasks, much the same as when I took my decorations out, slowly, and I like to pack things away slowly as well, and I can just take an opportunity to look at things and see which decorations I might want to pass on to somebody new, or the things that I really want to treasure, which although won't be put up on my tree, will be kept for memories. And one of those things I like to do as well is to go through my Christmas cards and making sure I've taken note of who's, the news of friends and family, but also I like to recycle my cards, and the easiest thing to do would be to put these all into recycling, but I like to reuse them as well. And so there's I just like to go through the cards and see which ones would make good gift tags, for instance, for the new year, for next Christmas. So what I've got here is just a small selection of cards, and the thing you need to do is to make sure that there's nothing on the back side, because that'll become the side that you want to print on. So that's going to make a really great card there. I've got a lovely snowy scene there. I'm not going to make that as a gift tag. I'm going to use that for another project. So I'm going to set that one to one side. Cute little penguin. Oh, there is something written on the back there, so I can't use that. That is sad because it's really sweet, but it would look great framed, perhaps, if you had, in your bathroom, or a room with a blue theme that looked really great framed. So perhaps that could be used for something else. Lovely little white card here. Now this one's got a bit of a texture to it, so depending on what I'm going to do with that, it may not be suitable, but it isn't a lovely one. And again here with this Christmas banner, it'd be really great if I can cut that out, but I wanted to use a hole punch for making my gift tags, and something like this that's got raised areas and lots of glitter won't fit through the hole punch. And then classic Christmas story and lovely cards through here. And I've got one card here that I've given by one of my ladies at flower class, and I'm going to keep that. Could be good inspiration for my Christmas stories next year, so that one's going to stay there as well. Now the easiest way of making gift tags is to use a pair of pinking shears, and that creates a lovely fancy edge around your cards. And I've got these shears which were given to me by a friend, so I've only ever used them. I think they belong to her mother. I've only ever used them for doing paper craft work, and my pinking shears for my sewing are kept in a different box, and I only use those for sewing, and I only use these for paper. And the easiest thing in the world to do, double check. Oh, this one's got writing on it as well, so I can't use that. Although if you're into making your own Christmas crackers, you could cut out the motifs and stick them on the cracker. It wouldn't matter that you had writing on the back there. So I can't use that one because it's got something written on the back, but I can use this one here. So the easiest thing to do would be to pick an area that you wanted to cut out, making sure it's going to be big enough to write on. Now this one here is really lovely, but because the polar bears have been set out in threes, I think I'm only going to be able to make long thin cards, and you need to decide whether that's going to be big enough to write your message on. And sometimes with these cards, once you cut the motif out, it doesn't really give you a lot of space, and I'm inclined to think that's probably going to be too narrow for writing my message on, so I think I might have to set that to one side. You could just cut through and just go a square area, but then you run the risk of just cut off that polar bear's head, so it gives a better size, but you sort of lost the pattern. So it just depends how much detail you want, really, whether you notice that he hasn't got a head there or not. So you just have to go through and decide what you're going to do in terms of the shapes. Now I have got this lovely gift card stamp punch, and I would say the only problem with this is that although I've picked the biggest one I could find, the actual punch area isn't particularly big. Now what I do here is I take out that tray and I use the punch the wrong way up. So conventionally you would put your card in here and you would punch it and you get your card out the other side, but I like to be able to see what I'm punching, so I turn the punch upside down and then I cut away the back card just to get rid of that, and then I put it in so I can see exactly what I'm cutting. So here with the, I'm not going to be able to get the words Christmas on there totally, but you get the hint of what the greeting says. Look there, it says almost sparkle and greeting, and you can adjust it to where you want it to go. So I might have it saying greetings, hold that in place, and then sort of punch the wrong way around, and then I've got my lovely little card there. But if you just wanted that sense that it was red and gold, you wouldn't need to worry too much, although I would concentrate on trying to get the letters horizontal. And you've got the cards there, and you know, if you want to make use of every bit of card, you could go the other way as well, and just sort of positioning it up so it looks quite neat. And I can't get a fourth one in there, there's not enough room, so it's quite a good tip to use your hole punch the wrong way up. And then I've got a really small punch here that makes the holes for the bit of string to go through the gift tag, and the same thing, I tend to put it in upside down so I can judge where that's going to go, and that gives me a really tiny hole. But if you didn't have one of these specialist punches, you could use a regular hole punch, or quite often I just tape my gift tags to my parcels and presents, so you wouldn't need a hole at all. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do with the professional cutout greeting card, or whether you want to go freehand. So I'll get rid of the backing first, just makes it easier to cut. And you could, if you wanted to be really careful, is, you know, put a template on there to draw around, but I'm just going to go freestyle. So I'll use the door wreath motif here as a guide. I'm just cutting halfway around in a circle, just eyeing it up. Like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it's a bit lumpy at that end because it is home crafted. And again, I could either put my stamp in there or leave it as a hole without the punch line, without the punch hole, and just tape it to my parcel. So it's just a really lovely way of taking the opportunity to review all the Christmas greeting cards you got and putting them to use for next year. So here I could cut out the Christmas, and again I'm not quite sure it's going to work because when I cut through there I'm going to cut off his little face, aren't I? So what I could do is just cut around him like that, but I think probably he's slightly too intricate, and I would say geometric shapes it if you're cutting a circle, a square or a rectangle. Otherwise they do get a bit fiddly do. And maybe you want to theme your tags. So if you've got children in the family, they'll probably love something like that. And if you have grown-ups in the family, they're probably going to want something plainer, more sophisticated looking. Now with the other tag here, the card here, I'm going to make a little Christmas scene out of that, so I shall do that in another video. So I'll say goodbye for now, and good luck with all your packing away this Christmas.